Space-time is really nothing more than particles. Probably. That's my get on space-time. And it's not really time. No, sir. It's just a particle. Quit calling it time. It's just the superfluous time. And it has nothing to do with the fourth dimension or time travel or even time dilation, because I've already disproved it, that time dilation even exists, because it doesn't. And also, it's not the fourth dimension, and it's just particles. Everything that's really going on in space is empty space and particles. There's nothing really else going on. Your delusion about space-time being a fabric, such as like this solid object, there are laws called the law of volume, the law of divisibility, and the law of motion, and the law of magnetics. Those four laws are the primary laws of everything. Now, space-time must act in a particular way. It can't be a solid and actually do anything without giving rise to motion, which is going to cause divisibility. Motion does cause divisibility, and these delusional videos and images that you see showing space-time as a curvature, like a divot in some kind of solid fabric, is not really real. That's not true. None of this fake crap that you're seeing in science is real. Okay? It's just a really dense superfluous particle field, and curvature and the fourth dimension and time travel and time dilation are not real. Okay? This is the absolute truth about it. Because if you take a string and tie it around Earth and send it all the way across the universe and attach it to a small clock, the time will be the same. So, it's pretty simple. Just knowing that if you send a string from the Earth across the universe, a solid string, if you had enough string, it would defeat time dilation just in theory. And it's just that simple to know that there's no time dilation. There's no delocalization of the entire universe that we are in. There's no localization of time, because time doesn't exist. Time is nothing but the motion of an object. So essentially, you need to know that time is never anything but the motion of particles. The only way we tell time is by the motion of gatherings of particles, such as like the Earth spinning, particles in motion, the motion of light. There's no time dilation. Okay? There's no time travel. You can't reverse all the particles in the universe and take them back to a previous state that they once were and go back to an exact point in the past. We know this. Time travel is ridiculous. Einstein thought it was true. He also thought time was the fourth dimension. We could travel through it. And they believe all this because of black holes. Because black holes are nothing but particle interactions. That's all a black hole really is a particle interaction. And the theory of relativity and special relativity aren't true either. Okay? Relativity is somewhat true too. Like the fact that things are relative, but special relativity, traveling at the speed of light and observing some effect of time dilation, is not true. What happened when NASA recently discovered that they thought they used a special gyroscope and discovered space-time time dilation was true, but they did not. What they really discovered was an energy that was either of the universe or of the material they used that caused a drift in a gyroscope. But but the truth is, there's not enough dynamic measurement to even come close to proving anything that NASA said to be true with their gyroscope. No one still has absolutely proven that gravity is what they say it is, okay? These are all a lot of hypotheses. Einstein, when he wrote the theories that he wrote, he did not have evidence to support his mathematical claims. Okay, you need to know this. Einstein was mostly a mathematician. Math and physics don't necessarily line up. However, observance of a measurement and math may line up. However, it's too obvious that there are particles. Particles are a must. There's actually a law of volume that states that nothing can exist without volume. If it does exist with volume, that's fine. But without volume, it ceases to exist. Then there's a law of divisibility in particles. This is the law of divisibility that basically states that we would have no motion or no interaction without dividing some form of energy into particles. Okay, then there's the law of motion, which is basically the simplest equation ever, which is nothing more than a force or an energy times its acceleration at any one given velocity. This is how simple motion really is. Velocity is nothing more than the energy of an object traveling in a direction for an alleged distance, and it can change direction and distance. This is the most fundamental principle of all motion for eternity. Okay? You're simply not getting it. You physicists out there do not seem to understand that this is really simple particulate interaction. Even Einstein's so-called space-time is nothing more than particles in motion. Everything in the entire universe that is ever going to occur is nothing but empty space and particles in motion. That is the sum of everything that's going on in the four laws of physics that I created. There's nothing left to say about anything. There's nothing left you could say. Absolutely not a single thing you could ever say other than the four laws and the fact that everything is nothing more than particles in motion and empty space. That's the truth. Empty space is the layer of nothingness behind the so-called particles. Okay? Even if there is space-time, if it's absolutely true, it must be a particle, or it cannot interact with other particles, unless it's absolutely magnetic. However, it would not dimensionally, dynamically interact with a body of particles correctly, unless it had the ability to exchange energy, which means it is particulate. It must be divisible. This is a simple understanding of all physics. So my IQ must be like somewhere around 180, maybe 200. It's pretty ordinary, really, to understand particles, and geometry is like the origin of everything. How many times can you fold a box? You eventually can fold a box a lot of different ways. But, it depends on how you design the box, and if it's really a box, or if it's really a sphere, or what, a polygon, or, you can't have anything that exists without volume. Just remember that. That's actually a law. It's a geometrical law. And time is nothing more than the motion of objects, which is all entirely particles in motion. The whole universe is nothing more than particles in motion in empty space, period. The four fundamental laws: the law of volume, the law of divisibility as particles, the law of motion, which is the simplest law in the world I just explained, and the law of magnetics, which the law of magnetics is all different sorts of laws of magnetics. And I do not know all of the laws of magnetics. I know some relative laws of the magnetics. So that's about it. This is the entirety of quantum physics. Okay, other than that, it's just some geometrical figures. A lot of different geometrical figures on how objects do what they do. It's really all it is.